Hey guys, and welcome back to Latasha Hewitt Homes. I'm so happy that you stopped by this channel. Now, some of you know that really the reason Latasha Hewitt Homes came about is because I'm a real estate agent and I kind of enjoy all things home, as I always say, but also buying and selling real estate. So, though I haven't done many videos on real estate itself in a while, I thought it was time to update you because of my last settlement experience. So, I was trying to document a little bit of the day just to kind of give you guys an idea of what a settlement day is like for those who are interested or haven't had a traditional settlement. And so, when I started chronicling this, I had a totally different picture in mind. And keep watching to find out how things took an interesting turn. So let me just set the background for you guys. So my sellers had actually already relocated out of state and were not living in the property for a month or several months. And so it's settlement day and we're excited because granted, they're going to hand over the ownership, they're going to move on, get their money, and be on their way, right? But of course, first things first, got to clean out this garage, which they had done a lot already. So really, we were just, boxing up things, and we were hustling. We were getting this thing in because walkthrough was coming up at 12:30, and when those buyers showed up, we wanted them to feel like they were walking into a home that was ready to receive them. And so we put some work in. Check out what we were doing to get this house ready. As I mentioned earlier, much of everything that was in the garage had been cleaned out, but there were some things that were just declared trash that they no longer wanted. And so, because I have an SUV and plenty of space in the back, I decided to help them with disposing of some of the things that they no longer needed. Made a few trips back and forth to the dumpster, but eventually we got all of that trash cleared out so that the garage was free of anything unwanted. But of course, there is always a need for donations. Sometimes you don't want to throw things away, you want them to go to another home. And so I was able to drop off some of the toys, leftover toys and things. That box was, it wasn't heavy, but it was awkward. And as you can see, I completely dropped it on its side. But I was able to stand it up and make sure those donations were taken. Bye-bye. And then, because there were other things that needed to be shipped back to their home, we went to the UPS store to make sure all of that got shipped back to where it needed to be. Came back to the house, admired how clean the garage was looking, but there was another little task outside, and that was cutting the grass. Guys, I can't believe how fast that grass grew within a matter of a week or so. It was like a small forest before it got to this point, and wanted to make sure everything was nice and clean for the buyers as this house was about to transition. Of course, I had to do my own walkthrough just to make sure the property was clear, even though they had moved out previously. We just wanted to make sure nothing was kind of left behind that we had forgotten or thinking that we would put off till later. And so we walked through that property just like the new buyers would to make sure all was well. All right, guys, so now that the walkthrough is done, I'm thinking, all right, let's head to settlement. Got my smiles on, trying different settlement day poses, found the perfect one, make my way to the office. So I walk into the office and the buyer's agent is also a part of my same brokerage. And I saw that he was calling me. And so I just kind of found where his office was and met up with him. And his eyes were kind of wide, and he's like, did you hear? We have an issue. And I'm like, what? And guys, you have to understand the reason why this totally took us by surprise is because everything had been just like seamless. Dotting I's, crossing T's, dotting them and crossing them again. Like, I felt like this was probably the most fail-proof settlement that I was ever going to have. And so to get to settlement and hear those awful words of, we have an issue, kind of put a little damper on things. Not to bore you with all the details, pretty much we were in a situation where one of the buyers was not present at settlement. Now, of course, some of you may know that it's possible that another buyer who may be in a different state, like this one was, has the option to have a power of attorney or maybe have the documents sent to them ahead of time. But that's the thing. You have to know ahead of time so that you can prepare. And we found this out on the day of settlement. Evidently, the buyer thought that he could e-sign. Hey, he'd been e-signing all the other documents, but this is a different kind of case. We're talking about real estate and transferring a property. And so, you kind of have to go through the proper protocols. But this individual did not know this. Of course, this was like a big upset because it's like, oh, what? Oh, no, we're all here. They're here from out of town. They have the kids. What are we going to do? Well, there is something called a dry settlement, right? Even that word sounds real, like a dry settlement. So pretty much what a dry settlement is that you pretty much go through all of the signing and everything that's possible, but the funds are held up until all of the signatures are in place. And then the seller can get their money, anything left over from the buyer they will get, and all parties are, financed or distributed their funds in the way that they should be. Okay, so this didn't seem too bad that the signer wasn't there. It just held things up because we're talking about a Friday settlement, which means over the weekend doesn't count. The mail doesn't run on Sunday, and so you're kind of losing a business day in order to have these signatures notarized. And so we ran into a situation where now the buyers who have sold their house have nowhere to go officially because they don't own the property yet. And so it was kind of on my clients to decide whether they wanted to rent the home to them for the few days before everything was official. And after some deliberation, that was able to take place, which really worked out. So I just kind of wanted to let people know that with settlements, sometimes you can do everything right. I mean, everything right. And get to the settlement table and something strange goes on or something you're not expecting goes on. It doesn't mean that the deal is dead or that all is lost. Sometimes you just have to use some little workarounds until you get your desired result. Out, the property is officially settled. They're happy now, and it was a success. But I always think that with real estate, you just always have to be prepared for the unexpected. Hope you enjoyed this video. We'll see you in the next one right here at LaTasha Hewitt Homes. Take care, everybody.